Hello, welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 400
Oh, I actually don't know. 88?
and 88. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a Tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
This is pretty flat.
Yeah, not surprised.
Had some sparkling water left over from yesterday, and it's flat.
Yeah. Sorry for no podcast, guys, Friday. We sucked at planning this week.
And I got really sick.
Yeah, Shaun got really sick. Donated blood and then got flu-like symptoms, which apparently is sometimes can be a side effect.
2 days later, I'm back to almost perfect.
Yeah. So,
It's happened to me once before.
yeah.
So I wasn't freaking too much because it's happened before. It just sucked.
Yeah. We'll probably... Hopefully we'll have time for a podcast this week before Friday.
That's my plan.
Yeah. So we'll try and get one posted this week. I really enjoy the fact that we talked about conspiracy theories like a couple weeks ago. Maybe like a month and a half ago. And we're just like, yeah, guys, if you don't see us posting, like, hopefully nothing happened to us. And ever since then, we haven't been posting, like, consistently on Fridays.
That's so funny.
So, just thought that was entertaining. But
That's awesome.
here we are. We're still alive.
That's good.
Okay, Shaun, what are we talking about today?
Not conspiracies, but people think are conspiracies.
Yeah.
We watched The Death of Recess. It's streamed on the streaming service Angel. Didn't even know that fucking existed.
No, dude. And the thing that blew my mind is when I, like... Remember I was, like, telling you I was reading, like, reviews on a Facebook post? And someone was like... Oh, thank you for telling me about this. I'm going to cancel my subscription to Angel now. And I was just like...
Who the fuck had this subscription?
You had a subscription to them? Didn't even know they were a thing to this.
Unless they were joking.
Maybe, I don't know.
Wow. That could be.
Maybe. So, anyways, yes, so it's on Angel. Angel.com?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. If you just search The Death of Recess, one of the first couple sites is Angel, so you'll see it.
Yeah, I watched it. We watched it. Sorry. We watched it and it was really good.
It validated a lot of things that we feel and, like, have thought.
Well, you know, we've known that public education has not been good for many years, and we have, like, read a lot about it, and they talked about it in the Outwitting the Devil, and how, like, schools are built to build obedient factory workers.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the Rockefellers and Ford were really big in developing the public education system to make good factory workers. And we knew that all they care about is, like, the same standardized testing, the same standardized everything. They don't take a creative, like, individual focused teaching.
And we have friends that have kids going through school right now too, and we've, like, even heard and noticed some things, like, through them. So yeah, this has really validated a lot of things that we have talked about that people thought we were crazy on.
Well, and we knew a lot of or I shouldn't say a lot, but we know multiple people who when COVID hit, they homeschooled their kids or they moved their kids to private school, etc., because they saw what their kids were learning and they're like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
My kids are not learning this bullshit. Like, we are not doing this. They're not teaching good things. They're just teaching weird, like, gender studies and, you know, what's that big thing? The diversity, equity, inclusion shit.
DEI, yeah.
DEI stuff. And they're like, no, my kids need to just learn education. They don't need to be doing. So, you know, we knew there was a lot of issues with public school. And then this took a kind of a different take on it. Like,
yeah, it included a part that we've never thought about, which was recess.
Yep.
So the whole documentary basically is about how like important recess is for kids. And like even up to adults actually.
Oh, it's the same thing for adults. Go ahead.
Yeah. Some of the statistics they were giving was like it improves like cognitive function like by 20%, memory by 20%, by just like getting outdoors. And they said like what you should try to do like 90 minutes a day, like minimum 90 minutes a day
Of movement or what?
of movement outside. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It might just be movement, but I think they really emphasized outside. And so yeah, and it was talking about how important these things are and how good it is for kids, especially because it helps them get a lot of energy out. So then when they're back in the classrooms, they can sit and actually focus. And right now, what's happening in the United States is they're actually taking recess away. I don't remember the percentages, but it was a big percentage of kids like either don't have recess or have up to 25 minutes of recess, and that's it. And in a lot of the United States population, kids are coming out with having huge ADHD problems, and the test scores are terrible right now. They said like 70% of eighth graders weren't proficient in reading or something.
I'm going to see if I can get that pulled
If you can find it.
They said at a minimum of 60 minutes of movement a day, and it should be good to break that up into frequent movement throughout the day.
Yeah. Do you remember what it said? Like, wasn't it 70% of eighth graders like weren't proficient in reading?
Yeah, it was something like it was 70% of eighth graders, something like that.
Or were like behind or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just like 70% is behind? That's insane. That's a majority of the eighth graders.
Right.
So it was very, very interesting. Like, they went into all these studies of like how important getting out and moving was. But then the guy who led all this, he took it a step further because he's just like, I want to know like what the education systems are thinking about all these kids being so far behind. Because he looked after study after study after study, like the percentages were just crazy with how far behind we are as the collective in the United States. And so he went to what is it called?
So it was 70% are so.
Sean's reading. Sorry.
Yeah,
We weren't prepared.
It was 70%. Oh, it doesn't say exactly what, but it was about not being proficient in reading, not at their grade level in reading.
Mm-hmm. They're having fun downstairs. Mm-hmm. Lily's with her favorite babysitter. So then he went to the like leadership summit for teachers. EAI, what is it called?
Is it the NAEP?
NAEP. I feel like that's too long.
That might not be it. Okay.
NAE? Maybe it was the NAE.
NAE might be that.
Whatever. It's the
National Assessment of Education Progress.
No, so the summit he went to, the leadership thing he went to.
That was.
So there's a huge collective, basically, that kind of is like the huge forefront for public schools. It's not the Department of Education. It's whatever this is. Sean was supposed to have a summary of this, but I think it's too much for him to look through. It should be in there of what the group was. So we went to this leadership summit anyways, and it was for teachers, and he figured it was like they would discuss like why the test scores are so poor in public schools. And he said instead what they talked about was making sure that they didn't
It's not in there, but keep talking.
Making sure they didn't let the Department of Education get disbanded. And then they also talked about pretty much bringing politics into schools. Like, this whole teacher leadership thing was all about like politics and kind of like a hoorah, we're a whole bunch of liberals.
Keeping this teacher student union alive,
Yeah.
and that they get to,
Oh yeah, you are right. It's not in here.
like, to remember that you get to influence the kids before the parents. That you should be like taking advantage of influencing the kids before the parents can.
Yeah. And then he went into some of the breakout groups. And this is where it got really interesting. And this is like stuff that we weren't really surprised about. We've talked about it and it's not surprising at all. He went to these breakout groups and they started talking about bringing, what was it? GES? Gender, GIS?
Gender equity and inclusion.
No, gender inclusion, like societies or
okay.
something into the schools.
Yeah.
And basically like promoting like having these groups in the schools to allow kids to be whatever gender they want at as early of an age as they want,
Right.
basically. And so he was just like, okay, we're not talking anything. They didn't talk us. 0% of this summit was about improving the test scores.
Well, improving test scores or improving like kids' proficiencies or learning or anything like that. Because what the whole thing goes on, and like I'm sure a lot of you, I guess I don't know if a lot of you know this, but like I know I retain information and can think a lot better if I'm moving. So it's like when you take a phone call, it's why people pace when you take a phone call. Because you like, as you move, you think better. And so like, if I need to figure shit out, I just go on a long walk and I can just figure it out. It's like the movement allows your brain to really think. And so getting rid of recess, it doesn't allow you to think. There was one teacher in the school who would teach the kids something for, I don't remember, it was 20 to 40 minutes. Then he'd make them go play basketball for 15 minutes, and then he'd bring them back and start teaching again. And that classroom of students performed 20% better than all the other students learning the same curriculum. So like you could be 20% more proficient just through recess or learning. So right off the bat, like when you take away movement, you're taking away your ability for learning capacity. Well, second, you're taking away a way of like stress relief, because you need movement and you need like to exhaust yourself to release stress. And then the other part with it is you get like community and friendship. Do you think you're going to bond a better friendship with someone at recess on the playground or sitting in a desk where you can't talk?
Right. And they also like just talked about like you said, like how moving helps reduce the amount of anxiety and depression and mental disorders in kids. I mean, we've talked about it on here so much. Like, people talk about how depressed they are, and like our first thing we tell them is move, start moving, work out, do whatever, just go outside and just walk around. Like, movement is the natural antidepressant. And so in one of the stats in the movie, I don't remember what it was, but it talked about how high like mental health problems are in kids now.
Yeah.
It was like 25% or something.
40% of kids have like mental health issues now.
Yeah, something. It was something outrageous, yeah. And they're like, yeah, it's because these kids aren't moving.
Well, they're not moving. That was one of the big things. Another one of the big things was they're being indoctrinated. Mm-hmm. One part of this movie they talked about was the transgender stuff and like bringing in, like talking to kids about sex and gender and stuff like that at an early age, which then confuses the kids, make the kids not feel comfortable in their own body, and then the kids then are depressed because they think that they should be a boy or a girl.
Yeah, one of the it was nice because they brought in so many like parents that are going through this right now. So one of them was a mom that she said her 12-year-old was asked to stay after school for an art club. And she was like, cool. Well, then it was one of these GIS groups. And in this group, they talked about sexuality. And one of the topics was polyamory. And just like, what 12-year-old needs to know about having multiple partners?
Yeah, what sixth grader needs to talk about having multiple sexual partners?
Yep, and they brought a drag queen in, and then the really fucked up one was someone who's actively participating in witchcraft, like blood witchcraft.
Yeah.
And like she said, like the mom like went to this person's Facebook page that came into the group and spoke to her daughter, and like on their Facebook page was them doing like blood rituals.
Right.
And she's like, why is this person talking to my 12? Right. So yeah, she said she found a suicide note from her daughter. We're pretty sure the daughter's fine.
I think so. It seemed that way.
It did seem that way. They didn't really specify.
I feel like they would have specified if she killed herself.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so they found that, and I'm guessing they homeschool now too.
I would imagine.
Yep.
But the lady's like, we were the typical liberal people. We voted for their local Democratic governor, voted for Biden, and then all this shit happened.
Yeah, and then she said it just opened up their eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it really it really went to show like how they're focusing on the wrong things in schools. Like we got to do the best on all these tests. Like we got to do more tests and more tests and more tests. And it's like those tests are actually harming the kids because it's making them more stressed. And then the schools are cutting recess so they can do more test prep, which is then causing kids to have
even worse scores.
And then schools aren't focusing on fixing the test scores. They're focusing on gender studies and equality and all this other stupid shit. I also didn't know that the Supreme Court voted to not disband the Department of Education.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. That's why it hasn't happened.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. You know, when you watch this movie, you find out that, like, this really revolutionized education and allowed education to be open to all classes and not just to the wealthy. Mm-hmm. Education past the 8th grade was open to every class when before it was only for the wealthy, which is awesome. But then around the 70s, I think they said, around the 70s is when it's only been going downhill. Like schooling and like learning and like test scores, whatever, like education and the level of education, the proficiency, however you want to like word it, of students has only been declining since the 70s.
Yeah.
So like kids have only been getting dumber over the last 50 years.
And the best part is the amount of teachers in schools has actually gone down 10%.
No, it's gone up by 10%.
Up by 10%. The amount of administration staff for schools
Has gone up by 94%.
Yeah. Tell me why schools now need 94% more administration.
Just pad pockets. It's everything in government. Mm-hmm. Everything, add positions so people can get paid, can get in on it as well.
Yeah. Get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, I mean, and they talk about like that one group that gets the one group that he went to the summit for.
Yeah.
How many they have, like $1.4 billion or something.
Yeah.
And they spend like hundreds of millions a year on
like 700 million went to like the Democratic Party.
well, like the Democratic Party putting on events and like political rallies and things like that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, what could you have done with that to help the school system and to help the kids? So then a lady went through and she deemed, they did studies and everything, and she deemed that if you have recess, students tend to be 20% smarter. Mm-hmm. Like they scored 20% better if they had recess. So she went to pass a bill or to like bring it to her state.
I think it was Connecticut.
In Connecticut, mm-hmm. to get it approved that they need to have.
They were all schools were required to have like 60 minutes of recess or something.
And they shot it down.
Yeah, it did not get passed.
And she's like, but we're showing you how to make kids 20% smarter. And they said no.
Yep. So the Department of Education is getting dismantled in phases. So in order to eliminate completely, Congress has to pass it because Congress is what created it. But there's not enough support. So they're basically just trying to dwindle it until it doesn't exist. So if the issue, though, like if you think about it, is if groups like this NEA or whatever it's called keeps funding it, like keeps giving money to the Department of Education, then...
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like that won't fund it for long. $1 billion. Because, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so that's what's happening with that. And I didn't know, so that's why I looked it up.
Look up. Can you see how much money goes to public education in the U.S. a year?
Goes to.
So another thing that they were talking about is like post-secondary education and student debt, and they made it so that they made it so that kids' information on the standardized testing gets shared with the universities, so the universities can put out information to people to get them to take more SATs, to take the like SATs or ACTs more often, to apply for more college and stuff, because they can make colleges seem more like harder to get into, and colleges will then know what like the test scores and people's like information and stuff, so they can have more information and be able to be more selective in their like choosing. The colleges can. Well, so anyways, what that happened is that increased the prices of the education system, or like it increased the prices of college, and without like increasing the value of college. And so now, because so many students have student debt is America's number one asset on their balance sheet. Student debt is 38% of the U.S.'s assets is student debt in accounts receivable, which is kind of absurd. So when you had Biden going around saying like, we will get rid of your student debt, like you won't have student debt anymore, The government could not do that because they cannot give up 38% of their balance sheet, which is insane to think that 38% of the U.S.'s assets, the largest asset the U.S. has, is student debt.
Okay. Are you ready for this? So the total amount that is spent on U.S. public education is $850 billion to $900 billion per year. That's just for K through 12.
That's K through 12 public education. Dude, that is sick. That is sickening.
So federal government, roughly only $70 to $90 billion a year. So 8 to 10%.
Okay.
State governments, 45 to 50%.
Okay.
And then local governments is the other 40 to 45%.
Which the local governments and the state, doesn't that all come out of your taxes? Property taxes?
All of this is taxes.
Well, it all comes out of your taxes, but that's property taxes.
Property taxes, yeah, is the
Is the local.
Local
and then you
ones.
got your state taxes. Yeah.
Yep. So they say roughly about $15,000 to $18,000 is spent per student per year.
Say what?
15 to 18,000 per student per year. Some
From
state,
tax dollars?
yeah, some spend $25,000 per student.
But Sam, 5,000 is too much for a kid in private school. You fucking me right now?
No.
15 to 18 grand. Hey, retards out there, where the fuck you think that comes from? Your taxes. You dumbasses.
Do you want higher education now?
Yeah, holy crap. Jeez.
300 to 400 billion.
300 to 400 billion. Higher education. Wait, that gets given? No. Okay, go ahead. How's that broken down?
So it says so bottom line, K through 12 alone is 900 billion. Total, including colleges, is 1.2 trillion. So the majority funded by states and local property taxes. Because you got to think some of our property taxes go to CVTC.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you want to see where the money actually goes?
I love this.
This was what ChatGPT suggested I ask it. So 50 to 60% goes to instruction. So teacher salaries, classroom aids, instructional materials and supplies, curriculum and training. 20 to 25% goes to support services. Guidance counselors, school psychologists, nurses, libraries, tech support, special education services. So special education definitely is why that one's so high now.
I mean, it plays a really big role.
Yeah. 8 to 12% is administration. 10 to 15 is operations and maintenance. Food, 3 to 5%. And then faculties and construction varies.
A lot of that, dude.
Special education is expensive. It can cost 2 to 3 times more per student. Yeah.
Love it. So, yeah, that's those are some pretty good stats.
Yeah.
But Shaun, public education's good. And what would kids do, that can't afford it?
Are you ready for... Wait.
Go ahead.
We didn't talk about the other fun thing. So then he toured some specialty schools.
Yep.
These were cool.
Yeah.
So one was called Alpha School, which that one was in Texas?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. And then there was another one called Notion in Mexico. The thing
And
that...
there were some cool ones in China.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're talking about...
China.
Yeah. But Notion was interesting because they even said that their program only cost $300 per student.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is right. I remember that.
Yep, because he said, I don't know why the U.S. hasn't adapted this because that's so cheap compared to what they're doing, and it could raise all their test scores massively.
Because they want to keep us.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those two schools specifically are very they use AI which I know we talk about how bad the robots are, but they use AI to kind of like cater per student. So each student has an iPad. They do all their lessons kind of individually and kind of have like just a person oversee or help whenever they need. And then they run and play, and the older kids kind of do more like specialty things, like what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So one girl was saying that she does her schoolwork for 2 hours, and then like the rest of it, she can kind of do whatever she wants. So like they can go work on music, go do art. Some of the boys were doing like woodworking and
some of them were like building, like doing projects, like building things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just so neat because like Shaun and I talk about it too the other day about, because he was asking some kids we know are homeschooled, and he's just like, it was 11 o'clock and they were just like all running around outside. And I was like, yeah, because it takes them only a couple of hours to do all their schoolwork for the day. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they were running around playing by 11. Mm-hmm. And this went and showed us like, yeah, it only takes a couple of hours.
Yeah, which, I mean, we did know that because we've had friends over the years who are homeschooled, and they said, yeah, they usually had their stuff done in a couple hours in the morning, and they were free all the rest of the day. Yeah. I'm like, dude, and none of them are dumb. Most of them are smart. Dude, most of the people that were homeschooled that I know are smarter.
Yeah, 100%.
And they all said that, like, yeah, they only went to school they would only do a couple hours of schooling a day. Well, there was one kid I knew.
Yeah.
That he liked learning. Mm-hmm. So after his like couple hours was done, he just did more learning. And so he would just do like 8 hours of learning a day.
That's crazy.
Dude, I think he had a bachelor's degree at 18 or 19. He was like
super smart.
So smart, dude. So freaking smart. Mm-hmm. Dude, stud.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, he liked learning, so he just kept. So yeah, he had a bachelor's at 19, I think.
Yeah. But so, I mean, it goes to show, like, you can do some of these other programs for so cheap. $15,000 to $18,000 per student in the U.S., but for $300, you can just get this whole program that'll make our
kids smarter.
And they can go run around and do more things.
So then you got to ask yourself this. Why? If they know we can be 20% smarter through allowing recess, why don't they do it?
Because then we don't have factory workers.
If they know we can do this for $300 instead of $300 a kid instead of $15,000 to $18,000, why don't we do it?
Because then people aren't getting their pocketbooks padded.
Right. So,
do you remember how you control a nation? Keep them uneducated and scared. What are we doing right now?
Well, we definitely uneducated, and they definitely do. Everything's about fear mongering. If you look at anything, all politics. We're in church today, and they sent out an email asking like what people would like to hear more of. Did you listen to that?
I was wondering I was so confused. I was like, what is this for?
Bro, they were like pro-life. How marriage should be between a man and a woman.
Mind you, the age gap between Shaun and I and the next youngest couple there
is like 40 years.
Yeah.
Not really. 30 years. Not quite.
25 to 30 years.
25 to 30 years. So there's a couple, but yeah, it's mostly that. But and then not bringing politics in, challenging the do they call it communion or what? Challenging the
I don't remember.
It was like challenging like everybody at the service, whatever it's called, like everyone there.
Like the congregation?
Thank you. Challenging the congregation and stuff. And I was like, dude, this is insane.
It was kind of cool because then someone's like dissecting Bible passages. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Cindy was really invested. I don't know if you saw it.
Cindy was like, amen, dude.
Yeah, there were some other people talking, and she's like, shh, I'm trying to listen.
She was all in, dude. She's like, I forgot to submit mine. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you have time. She's like, oh, great. I'm like, this is awesome, dude.
Yep. And then I had Mickey next to me, and she was just like, I do not think we should have politics in church. And I was like, I love this.
I agree and disagree. I think there's good thing. I think we don't need to bring politics into church. I think we need to discuss things in society.
Yes, 100%.
We need to discuss them with like an open view, not including politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with that. We shouldn't be doing it based on politics. We should just be discussing like the current things that are going on and how they could be fixed.
Yeah. So yeah, highly recommend if you have kids, if you don't have kids,
If you're thinking of having
if
kids.
you're thinking of having kids, highly recommend watching The Death of Recess. And it might make you, honestly, even if you don't plan on having kids, watch it. It's going to open your eyes to what is happening in the United States.
Yep. It's because here's the big thing. You all can, like, whoever, you can say this is not true and this is a conspiracy. Great. Go look up where we rank compared to the rest of the world, and you can see that we've only dropped in the rankings. And when we cut out recess, we dropped by like 20 more like 20 more. So we were like around 20. And then Bush passed like the standardized testing.
No Child Left Behind
No
Act.
Child Left Behind Act. And then we dropped to 40th. And during that time, they started pulling out recess. So you can go ahead and tell us we're crazy and that this shit's conspiracy. But then why do we keep doing worse and worse and worse? Why
Do they purposely not pass laws that are proven to help kids?
Yeah. And exactly. And then why are their like reading and comprehensive levels lower than the grade they're in? So you just start asking yourself these questions, and you can call us crazy, you can call us conspiracy theorists. That's cool. But maybe you're not open to things, or you're living in your echo chamber, or you want to feel comfortable. You don't want to question society. You want to fit in with the norm. Instead of actually questioning, hey, why the fuck are we stupider? You know, why aren't things getting better? And the issue is, as soon as you accept this, as soon as you watch this film and you're like, oh, wow, this seems to be intentional, then you got to start asking yourself, or that I'm not saying you then you will start asking yourself, what other things have they been doing? And that's what that one lady said.
Yeah.
She's like, I looked into this, and the next thing I know, it was just dominoes.
Yeah.
So The Death of Recess, it's awesome. I liked it. It gave different takes than what we had thought.
Yeah. It included parts of schooling that I didn't think about. And then there's a lot of parts. When I got to the transgender part, Sean was just like, okay, let's get back to the recess now. Because that's part of it that Sean and I already know about.
Knew that shit. I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
speed this up. I don't care. But like, we already know this is bad. We know that a lot more people commit suicide. Blah, blah, blah. Speed this up.
So yeah, highly recommend for everyone. To be honest, everyone should watch this.
Love that.
Cool.
All right, gang. Catch you on the next one.
See ya.